Hi, this is Pete Gooding from Ibiza, musical director at Hostel La Torre, and you are listening to the Liverpool Connection podcast.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Liverpool Connection podcast. I am one of your hosts, Daz, and I've got Steve back in the building, which is nice. He's my original OG, so it's nice to have him back. I cannot wait to introduce my next guest. Former first team goalkeeping coach for Liverpool. He's got a new book out. It's been out for a little while, called The Mersey Mission. We'll just get right into it. But we welcome John ACHTERBERG to the show. So can't wait to get started with you, John, because I've got so many questions for you.
No problem.
Obviously you were in your younger days, were a goalkeeper in the Dutch league. How did you come to play for Tranmere?
Basically from my hometown Utrecht, I went to NEC Breda, and then I wanted to be my number one goalkeeper. Really, I was number two at Utrecht, and then I moved to NEC Breda, made my debut in the Dutch Premier League, but I was the number two goalie. So. And then I had to renew the contract. The Bosman rule came in, and I got the offer to be the number one, really, in Eindhoven, in the second division. And I went there, basically. So when I went there, I didn't enjoy it too much because the training levels were not as high as in the Premier League in Holland. The players were not as professional, and I expected a little bit more of that side. And then on my first year, I think Utrecht wanted to re-sign me as a goalie to compete, and they asked too much money, and I said to them basically, already after 6 months, I don't enjoy it here. I need to go to a better level than what is here. In my second year, obviously, I'd only signed 2 years, so my second year, I got injured, really, and I was basically out for like 6 to 8 months, and all the clubs were already sorted in Holland, really, for goalies. And then I started the pre-season basically to get fit at Willem II and at the Premier League level, because they had some injuries. And then I could go on trial to Tranmere, and went on trial. And after 2 weeks, John Aldridge, the manager, wanted to sign me. And yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah, it's crazy because, did, I believe, 351 appearances, right?
Yeah, something like that. I didn't count them all, but yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's mental. But obviously, you liked being around, Merseyside, Liverpool, so you stuck around.
Yeah.
Now, before coming to the end of your goalkeeping career,
Yeah.
did you start to think like, I do want to be a coach? You start taking the badges and everything.
I was already started that in Holland, to be honest, because I think I was 24, and then when I went to Eindhoven, I did all the academy goalkeepers up into the reserve team, and then I did the local team, all the youth goalkeepers and the senior first team goalies. So I already was on the way with the badges then, and then when I came to England, I started to do like some goalkeeping days in Tranmere, and then the club didn't want me to do too much on it for a few years. So I think when I was about 30 probably or something, I started doing the academy, and I started to do local courses, one in Liverpool, one in North Wales, and one in Tranmere, and then scout my own goalies and try to develop the community goalies. And yeah, so I was then in the end, the last 4 or 5 years, I was player coach. I did the first team goalies, the whole academy, and I had my goalkeeping schools, and I did all my licenses up until the pro license. Basically, every license was existing, I was doing. So I had the academy license, the highest goalkeeping license, and the A license outfield. And I think when I went then to Liverpool, I did my pro license there after 2 years or something like that. So I got everything sorted, and yeah. Obviously, when I was 38, Liverpool offered me the contract and went there.
Yeah, that must have been nice. So you didn't have to beg them; they came looking for you.
Yeah, it went a little bit like when I did my A pro goalkeeping, I had to watch a professional Premier League team, so I put questions out, Everton and Liverpool, if I could watch training. Didn't get a reply really, but one of the coaches who helped me knew the reserve team goalie coach at Liverpool, so I could watch the reserves at Liverpool, and then the first team goalie coach was there. And I spoke to him, and he said, you want to watch the first team training tomorrow. And so I went there back the next day, and then I asked him different questions about how he thinks and what he does and stuff like that. And that was it really. And I think maybe, and I sent him a message and thanked them all for the hospitality, if you like. And after like 4 or 5 months, the first team goalie coach, Xavi Valero, texted me if I wanted to meet him and catch up and talk about goalkeeper. So that's what I did, and then we did it like a month or 2 months later again. And after the third time, I thought, okay, he must have more to do than just want to talk to me. And then obviously he asked me if I would be interested to do the academy and the reserves and oversee it all and put the structure in place. And I already had that in Tranmere. I wrote what I think the goalkeeper should be doing from on the 8, on the 9, up into the reserves, basically, and every year what steps they should be making and stuff like that. So I had shown that to him and said, have a look, see what you think and stuff like that. And yeah, so he offered me the job, and I had to see Benitez, and then obviously they give me the job, and then I started there. Basically, I was 38. I probably could have carried on maybe another 1 or 2 years, but yeah, if you get that chance, you don't have to hesitate. It's the nice step in your future career, really, and so I took that.
Well, I mean, you've gone through Benitez, King Kenny, Roy Hodgson, Brendan Rodgers, and Jurgen Klopp. So, I mean, you've worked with many managers. Out of all of them, I'm going to put you on the spot. Out of all of them, who would you say you work the best with?
Yeah, with Benitez, obviously, I only worked 1 year, but I was more with reserves than first team, so it's difficult to be a fair judge. But I would say that Klopp was the most and the best one, and he is probably one of the best managers in the world, and he still is right now. So, and everywhere he went, he did well. So that shows. And yeah, I cannot be more positive about the man.
Steve.
Yeah, John. Thanks again for joining us. An honor for us to speak to you. I wanted to ask you something, because I know, like, when you started coaching there at the academy around 2009, I believe, right? And then that was right in the transition of the Hicks and Gillette over to FSG. What is? Can you share some of your insight of just what was going on behind the scenes, and maybe share a story or two about what you were experiencing during that transition? Because for a while there, I mean, there was administration was being talked about. and just some of the, maybe trying to find a new stadium and all this things were up in the air. What was the scene like there on the ground with you and your position there?
I was only just in the job really, and I went obviously in the first year. You see a little bit, but there was not a lot possible at that period really, in terms of there was not a lot of money to buy players. They looked at free transfer players and stuff like that, and the quality of players were not really high what they brought in, and when you heard the whispers that they are having 250 million in debt and stuff like that, and they try to find new buyers, and obviously there was a few parties who were interested, and obviously then Fenway bought the club, and from that moment they tried to improve everything, the structure around the club, invest in anything what it was need to update, and professional, everything in a higher standard really, and then obviously also slowly so they improved the recruitment team. They got people in to look at data and stuff, and they bring more kitchen stuff in, and ground stuff, and all material to improve everything, and after that also they try to invest in players, younger players. Their philosophy was to buy players who are below 25, because then they had sell on money where you can still, you don't lose too much money, because you can sell them on if they don't work and stuff like that. So and then based on all that, they improved everything really, and obviously then changed a few times the manager around in the start till they bring Jurgen in really, and from that moment obviously everything started flying again.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a definite like a change of structure. Obviously, when FSG purchased the club, they brought in a lot of their own, business acumen to the club, and how they structured the hierarchy and the infrastructure there. But then I think it went to another degree when Klopp came, and he put his own stamp, and he really had his own way of doing things, and it seemed like he made it more of a family atmosphere, I guess I would say, where everybody had an influence on the success of the club as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, obviously when the Fenway, to come back on the Fenway, when they come in and they had the first meeting to the players and stuff, they said they were here to improve the team and to win, because they always want to be successful. And I think they proved that. They built a new training ground, they built a new stadium, and obviously with Klopp, who created then a winning team, and they supported him to try to get better players. Obviously they spend the money not crazy, they try to sell players and create more budget that way, and try to stay in the financial fair play situation, if you like. So and be creative in how they did it, and obviously it worked when Klopp came in, and he changed the belief basically in the club and with the supporters and everyone was back on one line, if you like. The supporters stayed till the last second of the game. In the start they were still leaving, and he spoke to the press about the supporters that they have to stay till the last second of the game, because we can win games in the 95th minute and stuff like that. And we did often enough in big games as well, turn it around in later stages of the game. And yeah, you felt that the fire was back with the supporters, the belief was back, and the city was booming again, and everyone wanted to be a Liverpool supporter. And obviously Klopp put that all together in that time.
I was thinking about Yeah, I coach youth soccer. You know, I have been since like 2004 here, and you know, I kind of see the development of the technical abilities of the kids these days. You know, they're just getting a lot better at a younger age on technique. And one of the things that wanted to ask you is like, how have you seen the progression from the goalkeeper standpoint? Because, you know, maybe 15, 20 years ago, you weren't really needing to play out of the back as much as they do now, right? You know, obviously the pass back rule has changed, and you couldn't just pick it up, you know, back in the old days, right? Back in the 80s. But the now every keeper seems like it's mandatory that they have to be pretty good on their feet. And how do you integrate that kind of session with your normal goalkeeping technical ability?
First of all, in my way of work, not a lot changed because I wanted to create all-round goalkeepers. You know, the rule. I was, if you say it was the 80s, I think I was about 14 or 15, maybe 16 when that rule changed. So that's more than 30, 40 years ago. So when I was a coach, I was a goalkeeper myself who was front-footed and play on the front foot and had to play with the feet. So I always thought if I create all-round goalkeepers, they can play in any team. And so my philosophy, and I did it when I started in Holland and in Tram, is that you teach every aspect of goalkeeping, which means you work on distribution, you work on 1v1 situations, you work on crosses, on speed, agility, power, and reactions, and positional play in the goal, and you know, have a clear set and way of work to bring all these aspects in the most clear and obvious situation in the goalies, you know. And I think it's like a brain training the goalies, like you go to school. So, you know, if the ball is in this position, you have to be in that positioning, and then you have to judge what can you come, can you not come, and be ready to deal with the situation, if you like. And it's the same shooting from the angle. Your body positioning has to be in this way. You cannot turn your shoulders. If you turn your shoulders, you're falling back. Your feet have to point the same way. If one foot is behind the other, you're falling back. All these kind of things, you know. And I think that is a pretty clear way of work. And you know, with that, I'm not trying to be too inventive and be working with ping pong balls or tennis balls, you know, because I think that's a lot of lost energy for training the brains, you know. Everything what I do is specific to the needs for the game and not to entertain and be a circus act, if you like. And, you know, everything has to be beneficial for the goalie to do the right things at the right moment. So my training will be, for instance, 90% in the goal, because they have to learn how to defend the goal, how to positioning, and learn to keep the ball out the net, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But a big part, like you said, is playing with the feet. So I always taught all the goalkeepers to play with the feet. And it's not just only your right foot, but it's also your left foot, because, you know, in the Premier League with a high intensity, your right foot has not only an outlet, but your left foot needs the outlet as well. You need to be able to pass the ball short and pass the ball long with the left foot and the right foot, because if they close the right foot, you can only play with your left foot. So this kind of things. And, you know, I'm not an inventor, and I don't want to be coming across in the world of goalkeeping that I am the new inventor. But what I do produce is goalkeepers in the most sensible way, and learn them how to move, how to dive, how to become a goalkeeper, and what is the needs on and off the field for it. And you know, that's my passion really. And I know it worked in Tranmere. Never had a goalkeeper from the academy making the first team, and when I was there, 5 made the first team. and some went on to play in the League of Wales. They played in the Conference, League Two in Scotland. One played in South Africa. So they make a career, and that was always the way I want to do it. And then I did the same at Liverpool. Obviously, there you have more scouts. But I said, yes, this one can work, this one can work. I helped them also in the scouting and looking and searching for goalkeepers in the younger age and in the older age, and make them a career as well. And there's quite a lot playing around and make a decent career. We sold quite a few goalies for good money, so that paid for my salary over the years I was there for sure. And I probably should have asked for 10% of them if they sold that. I could retire already, to be honest. But it's my passion to create goalkeepers and help them all. I want to make them a career, and it doesn't matter if it's League Two, League One, if it's in Europe somewhere, anywhere, as long as they can make a living from it and they can do their passion as well in their job they want to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, your success, obviously, you had the bona fides. You were able to stay at Liverpool, under numerous coaches. So, I mean, that just reflects on the success that you had there with the keepers. But I wanted to ask you something specific. We were very disappointed when we lost that Champions League final the first time to Real Madrid, right? And and then shortly thereafter we went and got Alisson. Did you know that was coming down the line? What was your initial thoughts? You're like, yeah, I can work with this, or so excited. I mean, the rest of us were pretty excited, but we really had only seen him a couple of times in the Champions League, right? When we played Roma that season. So what was your thoughts?
No, I mean, obviously after the disappointing losing the final, what happened was we in the preseason started again. They didn't start too well in the preseason. And then we already were discussing Alisson pretty early, to be honest. I spoke already I watched him from 2013 when I spoke to Donny in Brazil. Donny was our goalkeeper for 1 year when he came from Rome. And then when he left, I stayed in touch with him and asked if there was anyone good in Brazil to look at. And he said, yeah, have a look at Alisson. So he played for Internacional, and I watched him. I liked his game. And then I started and keep following like I did with any goalkeepers. I watched everywhere in where they create goalkeepers. I watched them from under 17 in the national teams till the first team, and I watched in all the big leagues if there was a new goalkeeper coming in. So I probably have 5,000-6,000 reports on goalkeepers over the years. And then when I like the goalkeepers, I keep watching it. And then when they ask me, okay, which goalkeeper you think? And then I said this one, this one, this one. And sometimes we cannot get them because, for instance, when I started the job, the first goalie I liked was Neuer, but he was at Schalke, not at Bayern. Then they said, he will be going to Bayern. And then I said Handanovic when he was at Udinese. So, I mentioned Ter Stegen when he was at Borussia Mönchengladbach. So you're finding the goalkeeper in the way we want to play. So that means they have to be mobile, they have to be quick, they have to be able to play with the feet. And they have to be all round, and that's always how I looked at goalkeepers. And then obviously, we played Rome in the USA, and I had already spoke to Klopp about Ali, and then obviously Alisson was in goal. Then he was for Rome actually the number 2 goalie because they had Szczesny on loan from Arsenal and he was the number 1. But when he played in the cup games, I watched all the cup games and stuff. And the year after, he became the number 1 basically when Szczesny went to Juventus. And then I said to the boss, he played well in the game against us. And I said, that's the goalie I was talking to you about, and he liked him. Yeah, and then we need to, obviously, with the situations where we were with the goalies, obviously, the boss wanted an upgrade on Simon, Karius, and Danny Ward. Danny Ward was actually a really good goalie. We sold him for 12 million as well. But he was not perfect off the field and came back too heavy on the pre-season. So then it was decided, okay, we go for a new goalie. And then obviously we already did the work on Ali. The recruitment made a video of it, and the owners, obviously, they knew about it because the boss speak about it. I had sent already the list that if we're going to spend money on a goalie, because the club needs to make money available as well if you want to buy a high standard goalie. And then was decided that the club to give the go ahead, and that's how we signed Ali, really. And the rest is history, I would say.
Yeah, sure is. I mean, it's been a pleasure watching him over these years, right? So, Deza?
I wanted to ask you, do you take credit for teaching Ali how to score with his head?
No, I mean, Ali deserves all the credit what he shows on the field, because he is the one who produced everything what he shows. You're only there to help. And, he did say to me, he was grateful when I left, that I helped him a lot. And, I obviously improved a few things with him as well. But, the quality he has, the speed, the power, and the calmness and the decision making, for me, is probably, he is the best at this moment in the world right now, I think. And Neuer was that before for a long while. And I think at this moment in time, it's Ali, but that's my personal vision. So, and I can say that now I'm not working there. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it. But it's up to the people to decide that.
Well, what's your thoughts on, let's go back to the Madrid game again. You've got a young lad, Karius, in goal. And it wasn't until later on that we learned that he had a concussion. Now, he's a young goalkeeper. Was it like the next couple of days you just left him alone, or did you put your arm around him and be like, look, there'll be many more days? I mean, how, because obviously it has affected him, because he just fizzled out.
I don't know if it affected him really. He fizzled out probably because, you need to show every game that you're on it if you want to get to the top. And it doesn't matter where you are. If that is any club in the world, you have to show up, obviously. And I think he was, having a bad game for sure in that. The problem was it was the last game of the season. And, he was obviously really disappointed about it. When the final whistle went, I went straight over him. He was on the floor. I get him up in his feet and I said, you have to be strong now. You can't change nothing no more. And you have to be with the team. You win as a team and you lose as a team, and you're part of it. So you cannot stay away from them. So go and see them and be with them. And that's how it went. And then obviously all people spoke to him. It was the last game of the season. So the day after, it was a holiday, because if you win, you have a parade. But if you lose, obviously it's done, and you're on the way on holiday. So just stay in touch, really, on the phone with him in the next few days. Send him a few texts out things and stuff, and and other people did the same thing. Then obviously they saw a specialist who said he was concussed and stuff like that. And then obviously the pre-season started again, and you try to work like normal. And obviously after 1 or 2 weeks, it was decided that we wanted to go for a different goalkeeper. So I think his career didn't fizzle out. I think the problem is he went on loan to a few clubs, and he had to be consistent, probably playing wise, and that was up and down. Some clubs they had a goalie already, like he went to Germany to Union Berlin, but they were already in the season starting. and he went on, I think, transfer deadline. But the goalie was in there; he did well, so they didn't change. So one time or two times he got a chance to play in the cup. Yeah, then they went back with the manager to the same. So that was probably unlucky as well. Like so. But that's how it goes. You have to be consistent every day in training and in the games, and then hope that the manager fancy you. And obviously that didn't happen in that period. And then obviously, then your career become a bit more difficult. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with those two mistakes, he was kind of made the scapegoat.
Yeah.
But, you look back at that, and the overhead kick by Bale is just unreal. It's one of those things that happen in football.
Yeah.
And I did feel sorry for him. I mean, there's idiots out there that were just, bombarding him with just absolute nonsense. Any footballer on any given day can have a bad, Stevie G. I mean, he slipped. Everybody says he lost us the league. That's rubbish. He didn't lose us the league that day. But this is what I mean. With professional athletes, everybody just jumps on these players, and especially young players get targeted, which is just disgusting. We live in a world of social media now where you can say what you want behind your keyboard in your own house. So what's your thoughts on the whole, because Nunes had it, last season where he cancelled his Instagram account. What's your views on the social media and the fan abuse?
I mean, it's part of life at the moment, and the rules are there that everyone can say what he wants, really. So if no one ban it, then it won't not change. But what I will say is, if you're a professional footballer and you want to be the top footballer, then you have to be mental strong enough to deal with it as well, And everyone gets it. I got it in the past too. I got death threats and stuff as well when the goalies were not playing well enough and stuff like that. But the thing is to stay calm and keep doing what you are doing and believe in what you're doing and work hard. It is part of life, and there's no people in the world been able to change that. And unfortunately, if you work for Liverpool, there's 500 million supporters with all having an opinion, and you have to accept that. If you cannot deal with it, then you should not work for it. You can hide somewhere in a small club, but then there is 5,000, and from the 5,000 there will be still a few people who are negative. That is part of the society. And like I said, for me, you have to deal with it and put it away. And if you cannot handle it, then don't look at it. And you have to stay calm with it. That's my opinion on it.
Don't throw chairs at people.
that don't help, of course.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you also, obviously, you've trained Kelleher, absolutely an amazing goalkeeper. It's got to be tough for him because obviously he wants to be number one. But, with the situation now with I'm not going to say his name because I'll just bomb it, the Georgian keeper that we've signed.
Yeah.
So he's going to be coming in next summer. So if I was Kelleher, I don't know how I'd feel. Is that you're pushing me out the door? Or what's your take on it? Because, obviously, I said he wants to be number one. He should be number one. But Ali's there. Nobody's going to displace Alisson. They're just. So what's your thoughts on the Kelleher situation and with the Georgian keeper coming?
Yeah, that's obviously a club decision for the people who is in charge now to make that decision to buy a goalkeeper. For me, they have the two best goalies there and probably the best goalies in this goalie squad they had in Liverpool history, I think, and we have needed Kelleher if Ali was not fit. and the team spirit was really good. And obviously, now I don't know because I'm not there, but the club decided to bring this goalie in. They have assessed him, I would say, and they thought it was a good idea to bring him. For Kelleher, that won't change nothing, I think, because if Kelleher keep playing how he is, then they can bring anyone. I don't think there's many better as Ali and Kelleher. That is my personal opinion. And yeah, Kelleher wants to be number one, so the club will try and find a solution. Maybe they send him out on loan if there is no buyers. They had a few buyers for him, but they didn't agree to the fee. That's what the club have to decide and judge. And I think it's not an easy situation because obviously they both agree the contract. There's no clauses in, which doesn't help Kelleher probably. So the club can ask what they want, and it's pretty simple. If you have Kepa who costs 68 million, and you judging Kelleher to all the goalies what goes for a lot of money, then you think, yeah, he is worth also a lot of money because you buy a number one Premier League goalkeeper who obviously shown every game he played that he is a high standard and he's a super talent, and yeah, that's the situation. It's not easy, but that's in the hands for the people in charge of the club, and they have to decide. And obviously, they decide to buy a new goalkeeper, and they must have judged how good he is and stuff, and decide.
He's a big lad.
Yes, very big.
Now, I want to get some good part. Proudest moment as a goalkeeping coach.
Oh, proudest moment as a goalkeeping coach. I think any game Ali is playing well and he wins us the game. that is cool. And for Kelleher, it's the same. It's pretty cool. Kelleher wins us the League Cup. Ali makes saves against Tottenham in the final. In the Club World Cup, you cannot name it, and he made so many good saves. But I'm just happy that I can help goalies to make a good career. And you win together, you lose together. I pretty much feel that always, and I enjoy to follow the goalies I work with, what they've been doing and stuff, and I hope they all do well. And that's just your passion. I don't have really a proudest moment, I would say. There's too many good things what happened, and always be positive and enjoy the day and the moment, and try to see if there's more nice moments to come, and work hard for that as well.
Steve?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking when you asked that question, it's like, for me, it had to be with Kelleher, hitting that penalty, that shootout, the 11th penalty, and then winning it. But that was just sticks in my mind. But John, obviously you've left Liverpool. Now you're over there in Saudi Arabia. You're coaching with Steve Gerrard over there. And, just share some your initial thoughts of just the differences. Obviously, there's some big differences in the league play, but just are there differences that you have to do for your own preparations to train the keepers there in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, my training will not change too much because my job is to try to create Saudi goalkeepers and help them to develop and make them a career. And I'm obviously convinced that I can do that too. And my profile for a goalkeeper was always between 188 and 194, 95, because I wanted mobile goalkeeper who are athletic and can move quick. And most of the times after 194, they become more robotic and not as quick in the movement, which in the Premier League don't help. And yeah, so when you go to Saudi, you have to just and see what the league is like and stuff, but also the people, what they are about. But most of the Saudis are not going over 190, so you have to readjust really a little bit on that side. So yeah, I'm probably looking now more from 182 to 190 max, because there's no one on the over 190 really, and then try to find that kind of way, and then try to develop them. They all have a great attitude. They're working crazy hard, and they are mobile. So I have to put the same structures in, try to make them play with both feet, be good in positional play, coming for crosses, make them more robust, make them more stronger physical, get them good on crosses and 1v1s and shot stopping and defending the goal basically, and judging, and make them more front-footed goalkeepers than waiting goalkeeper. So yeah, there's something to do. In the 2 months I've been here, I think there's been a lot of progress. I think the goalies already felt it and saw it, and there's a lot more to come, and we are only 2 months on the road, and there's still a lot to do more. But yeah, I'm happy with the way they're making the next steps, and hopefully we can do more. We try to find a few others and stuff, and improve everything like that.
Well,
it seems like it's that's. Go ahead, Daza, go ahead.
It must be nice to see Genie again as well.
Yeah, it's to be honest, it's a great environment. It's a great staff. The boss Stevie put together, and they're really good guys. And yeah, obviously it's nice to have Genie around, because obviously he's Dutch and play at Liverpool for a few years. So yeah, no, it's a really good setup. Everything. They want to improve. They make a new training ground. The facilities are what we have already to work with, is pretty much same standard as Liverpool. So we cannot really complain anything on that side. So, we want to improve the football. Obviously, that's what Stevie has been brought in, and he's already developing that side. And hopefully we can be successful, because in the end, that is what we all want. And hopefully make something happen. That is the plan.
And a lifetime supply of sun lotion.
Yeah, you cannot actually stay too long in it, because it's too hot anyway. So they don't supply too much sun lotion, but they have it there. But we don't need it if you train in the nighttime, to be honest. It's dark, so it should be all right then.
Well,
Hey, who was your favorite player growing up?
My favorite player? I mean, I always loved Van Basten as a player. He was a super strike, and unfortunately had to retire too early because of injury. But he was crazy good, and he already, I think, won 3 times the Ballon d'Or, I think, when he was 29. And he would have probably won it a few times more if he didn't have to retire because of the injury. So yeah, he was good, and obviously I saw still a little bit of Cruyff. He was good in Holland too, and yeah, they are players who are special. They make something magic, and people will pay money for that. But at Liverpool, we had some crazy good players. It's hard to name them all, but you had Suarez, Coutinho when he was at our place was crazy good, and then in this last few years you had the 3 up front, Bobby, Sadio, and Mo. Mo has been crazy, with all the goals and the records he breaking, but also Virgil as a centre half and Ali as a goalie. Fabinho in his top number 6 as well. Trent, Robbo flying everywhere. So we had too many good, and I'll probably forget a few players as well, and Stevie when I came, crazy good player. Stevie, yeah. This kind of players you pay money to go to the stadium and watch, really, and yeah, that is great to see this kind of level in front of you as well. So yeah, too many good players around and enjoyment to watch.
How was it writing the book? Because I know Pep's done one. I know quite a few.
Yeah, it I didn't write it, to be honest. It was a guy from my hometown, Tom from Hulsen, and obviously he follows the English football a lot, and he came to watch often the Liverpool game, and he said, it'd be a great idea to write your story, from playing in a small U team in Utrecht and then wherever you have achieved. And so I said, actually, I'm not sure who is in Holland interested in reading a book about me, because I've been there already more than 26 years away. So he said, yeah, but the story you have to tell is also a little bit more than, it's a bit more like that you're creating a career by working hard and doing this stuff. And I said to him, yeah, if you want to do it, I'm fine with it. It's no problem. So obviously he did it, and then they bring it out in Holland, and his idea was then to bring it out in England, and that's what he did. And obviously I didn't make too much publicity also about it, but yeah, it is out and it's pretty cool, I think, for people who want to know how can you do things and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean it's always nice, we get a lot of authors on the show, and it's nice to hear their perspective of writing a book, because it does take research.
Yeah.
But now you have a book for your grandchildren. You can give them, know a little bit more about Grandad. So always good. I guess before we go, I know Steve is probably going to say the same thing. Thank you so much for 15 years at Liverpool. You and the backroom staff have given us so much joy watching, Klopp's team, and Brendan's team, before, when we nearly won the league. But you've given us so many great days and nights, I can't thank you enough.
I would want to say that I think we could have won at least one more Champions League and probably 2, maybe 3 league titles. But that was not in our hands. That was decided by some decision making on the field, where we probably feel like we lost titles because of certain things happening. What was not correct, but that is all history. But it was some great moments for everyone. It's a joy to see the excitement of the supporters, really. And everywhere you go with Liverpool, it's great to see the support. If you are close to that, it's unreal to see how many people support the club. And I'm pretty convinced that Klopp created new supporters who joined, and he probably created a new fan base for the future. And hopefully they can be successful in the next years. Slot started well. They win last night against Milan. So hopefully we can win more and keep being successful, because it's great to see all the enjoyment in Liverpool.
Well, it must have been amazing for you for the parade, after the Champions League, when, obviously the Premier, it was COVID time, so that kind of took off of it. I still pinch myself that we won the Premier League, but it was sad that the fans never got to
we all felt the same, because I think that would have outshined the parade, because after 30 years winning it, everything was sold out already in the town. They were flying in because we already won the league that early. Basically, we were so far ahead. There would have been more than 1 million. I would say there could have been 2 million in the streets, and it's been that was an amazing feeling to have two. I think we had two parades, but I think the biggest we missed out on that would have been when we won the league, and we could have done it with the supporters. That would have been probably unreal. But I have to say that winning the Champions League and the parade was unreal as well, to be fair. If you get goosebumps if you're on the bus and see all the people and singing and screaming, it's a crazy feeling. And that was super. That was probably unreal to experience.
Hey, I have one more question for you, John. So obviously, you were there under King Kenny, then Hodgson, and then Rodgers and Klopp. Was there any thought of staying on? I know your contract expired last summer, but was there any thought about staying on with the new gaffer, especially after you found out that Slot was coming? Was there any talks or thoughts on your end about that?
I think it was pretty. The situation was obviously my contract was running out, and the other coaches, they had 2 more years left. So if my contract was not running out, then obviously the club had to make a decision to keep me or not keep me. That's one. Ali was desperate to keep the goalkeeping squad together and the coaches, because he was really happy with how it went, and all the goalies were happy too. But when it happened, the club said basically we cannot make any decision till we appoint a new sporting director and a new manager. And I could not wait till the last day of the season to wait if I had a job or no job. So Stevie offered me the job, and we agreed pretty early on that side. And Ali asked me to wait with it because he wanted me to stay. But I think the new regime wanted to clear everything and make a really new start and bring everyone new, which you have to respect. It's part of football. I had 15 great years. I enjoyed every day, and I hope I did a good job for them and helped them with some goalies and stuff. And it's on to other people now to hopefully bring the same level of goalkeepers in the future to the club and make a good goalkeeping squad. And now the next few years it was pretty settled, I think, for having Ali and Kelleher there. And if they start changing it, then obviously they have to take charge of that.
Well, in 10 years when Pep Linders comes back, you can come back and work under him and be the goalkeeper coach again.
Yeah, you never know, or you can do a scouting job for them or whatever. But it's how it will go. Everything runs itself in life, and enjoy your day. And I enjoy this job, working for Stevie and try to help him as good as I can, and have the passion to create goalkeepers. That's the most important thing, I think.
Well, we've enjoyed having you here on our show, and thank you again. It's been our honor, like Dazza said, that you were able to take time out of your busy schedule and join us. And I know there's a lot of people here in the States and around the world that watches our podcast they're going to be very excited to listen to this episode. So thank you again.
No problem, and good luck there, and keep supporting the Reds.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Please like and subscribe, put your notifications on, and we'll see you later.